How to use a trust to build wealth. Well, a trust is absolutely vital. Anybody over 18, definitely in their 20s, once you're married, have kids, you need a trust to avoid probate. That is the absolute bottom line, and it's all over the world. So today I want to talk about how the trust can help you legally control and protect your assets. Number two, why building wealth without a trust leaves your complete asset base unprotected. And I'm also going to talk a little bit about the taxes and the tax deductions, because they're not at the trust level, the corporate structure level and the corporate life level. And the last thing I want to talk about is the shift away from owning everything to controlling everything. It's the Rockefeller principle: own nothing, control everything. So how do you do that, and how do you do that in corporate life? So let's jump right in. So a trust is a vehicle that is used all over the world. Probate is a thing all over the world. It doesn't matter what province you're in, what state you're in, what country you're in. You will go through probate upon your death, unless you have a surviving spouse. It's going to happen. And probate is rough. I have clients that have actually been in probate for 20 years, 22 years, 34 years. I have seen billionaire families completely not structure their trust right. And when all of the kids and grandkids, because the trust is not definitive on what has to happen for the behavior, all those kids start fighting and trusts break up. We're living in Northern Nevada. We're watching two different billionaire families as we speak just demolish their asset base because the trust originally was not set strong enough to have the family behavior be intact. So trust can protect your wealth from creditors, from lawsuits, from any real liability. Better, you put your assets into a company, and either in America, we call them LLCs, S Corps, limited partnerships, or C Corps. So the assets are held in company, and then the companies are held in trust. So for those of you that are interested in having a conversation about if you have a trust, if you like it reviewed, if you know you need one, you've been looking but not finding a good team who's willing to integrate to the rest of these decisions, which is your corporate structure, your tax structure, your estate tax structure. I mean, there's so much that you have to consider, and life insurance, which is going to fund the trust. So you go to askloral.com/trust. It's in the link below in the show notes, and we will get you an appointment to talk to one of our experts in our trust company. The last thing that's really, really pivotal and the benefit of having a trust is the privacy. And please do not use your name. I know when I first started, I wasn't as schooled and mentored, so I used the Langemeier Trust. Well, first of all, there's hundreds of Langemeiers all over the world. I was the only one in California at the time, and then re-domiciled it here to Nevada to be in Northern Nevada. I would not use your name. I wouldn't use your name on an entity. I wouldn't use your name anywhere. You don't want mail delivered to your home. You want to really start setting yourself up to look like a pure entity, and that company then is held in trust. So let's go to the next part of this conversation. So the trust allows you to have a lot of control. A typical trust and a typical legacy plan only lasts about 2.3 years, meaning your grandkids will probably be the ones screwing it up unless you clearly define that you want it to be a non-depletion trust. That's probably one of the better options, where no money can be withdrawn and taken out. You can apply against a business plan to take out a business loan. You can partner with the trust, but it has to be some sort of business-centric conversation and activity inside the family. Kids just don't become trust fund babies. And so I didn't set any of our trusts up for my kids' trusts where they just get to have the money casually. If they don't have a lot of rules that I put into the trust in their life, they get nothing. Charity gets it all. So I'm not growing trust fund babies, but that's up to you. How do you want you and your family and your legacy to be? And some people, honestly, they just want to spend it all. But still, even if you want to spend it all, you don't want to end up in probate court. Probate is a rough and can be a very, very long process depending on the state you're in. The other piece of having a trust to grow wealth, again, you have to put your assets in a company. The companies have activated and can activate up to 81,000 pages of tax code. It's huge. And then the companies are held in trust. And then it's loaded with life insurance with a complete estate strategy, including gifting to the kids or gifting to whatever charities or situations you want. So it's a very defined conversation. I love these conversations. One of my favorite things to do with clients is to talk them through situations of a trust. How would they do that? I back into a trust to be used as a prenuptial for families who don't want it to do a prenuptial. Then they each can have a trust on their own. So whatever there's coming to them is theirs. I've also helped families do generational skipping, where the kids are just already not functioning in a way that they want the money to come to them. so they can generationally skip them, but then get those grandkids as trained as you can because they're about to receive a lot of wealth. It's fascinating to me. It always has been. Ever since I started this career in wealth building nearly 30 years ago, how many families have zero conversation? I call it the surprise basket. Someone dies and there's a surprise basket called the will's read and everybody fights. So you want to have this very clearly laid out. A will is a portion of the trust. A pour-over will is a portion of the trust. Powers of attorney, portions of the trust. It's very comprehensive. And there are people, including estate lawyers, that I've heard say, oh, we don't need a trust. You can just have a will. Susie Orman went on stage forever and ever at PBS and made millions of dollars selling you these crappy little wills, like who's going to get the stuff, like who's getting this ring, who's getting this ring, who's getting this necklace, who's getting the vehicles, who's getting the stuff that has nothing to do with the trust that keeps you out of probate, that creates the legacy as is defined on how the kids will actually, or your heirs will actually make the money. So again, check out my link. You got to get on our calendar at askloral.com/trust so you can either have yours reviewed, have one set up immediately for you and your family. And then as a client, I walk you through a whole conversation of setting it right for you. Now, before I go on, I want you to subscribe to my channel. I want you to click the notification button. I want you here 5 days a week, as you need to be. And those of you that are about to inherit money, you probably should get those parents listening because you don't want a mess coming your way. And for those of you that are going to actually give an inheritance, you need those kids, same thing. You don't want to pass money to a bunch of uneducated kids. So again, how do you put financial literacy in your home? You're here on my YouTube channel every day, and you're going to buy my game. In the show notes, there is a link for a discounted game, as well as 2 tickets to our Millionaire Intensive, which talks about the corporate life that I'm talking about, where your companies own everything, your companies are held in trust, you control it, you don't own any of it. So last point about a trust and how you use it to build wealth. Trust can actually reduce your estate tax upon death. So that number varies. It's been sitting around the $11.2, $11.8 million mark for a while. So every heir can earn up to that much without you having to pay tax. Without a trust, you pay estate tax. There's no way around it. And it's fascinating to me how many estate lawyers, and maybe you're one of those people that are out there listening, your estate lawyer never consulted with your tax strategist, or your CPA, because you don't have a tax strategist, doesn't have anything to do with it and doesn't even understand it. So there is a trifecta of 5. I'm the lead strategist and advocate for you and your family. You have an estate lawyer, you have corporate compliance, corporate structure, you have insurance, and you have a tax strategist. So there are 5 people, in my opinion, on your team. If you don't know how to put that together, need to talk to our team, go to askloral.com, ask a question, make a request. We'll be back tomorrow with more education in financial literacy. Don't let this trust segment go by and not act.